Morning. Right, today we're going to talk about profit on Amazon. This is something nobody ever shows you. People just show you their revenue and maybe talk about their gross profit. But I want to talk to you about the net profit on Amazon. So the last 12 months, I've sold over $500,000 worth of products on Amazon. And I started this journey 2 years ago. So I've gone from 0 to 500K per year. And it's like, I'm pacing now to go to probably over like 650 in the next 12 months. Hopefully more if I invest in the business more. But what no one ever shows there is like when you're growing at that speed is the reality of your profits, because the reality is what you actually take home afterwards is what's going to feed you. It's going to put a roof over your head. So it's important to really know those numbers and go in with your eyes wide open, because if you're thinking about starting an Amazon business, you really have got to know what you're in for, because it's an incredible model, right? But you're not gonna just in 6 months' time be doing 10 grand a month profit. Like that journey to getting there, for 99% of people, takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of ups and downs. It takes a lot of moments where you're like, fuck, I'm losing money. And I've had many of those moments. So we're going to log on today, right? And I'm just going to show you what my profit looked like yesterday. I don't even know what this is yet. So the sales happen in the US, most of them. So I'm in Sweden and half my sales happen overnight. So I don't even know how many sales I made, but what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the reality of the numbers, because nobody does this. I use this tool called Shopkeeper. What I could show you here, right? I could be putting out to you, I made $1,800 in a day. And that's what most people do. They just show you this revenue. But the reality of selling on Amazon is that your margins are often around this 14-15% mark. So most people are operating at like 10 to 20% margins, net margins that is. So the gross margins of each product might be something like 30-40%, which is solid. But when every fee is taken out, all your advertising costs, all the fees Amazon take, referral, seller fees, and a big kicker is these refunds. So like I've had 2 refunds, and some days you get like, you might have 5 or 6 refunds through, and that eats into your profit margins. And so the reality is I've made $258 in a day. Now, I mean, I'm sitting here in Sweden making $258 overnight, basically. I don't care all those gurus, what people say, got to be making 10K a month, otherwise you're a loser. That's cool to be making $258 net profit whilst I'm sleeping. That is cool, and it's building. You can keep growing. But what I could show you is I made $1,800. Complete bollocks. I didn't. I made $258. And so I'll show you as well. This is like just my library of products, and you'll see on the left here, you can disguise if you want to keep your brand a secret, which seems to be what people do. And I'm kind of following it. I don't really know whether I should show you my brand or not, to be honest. But I've actually just launched a new product too. So these kind of ones down here are new products, which aren't that profitable right now. So I am hoping to start building this above sort of 15% most days, because a lot of the last 12 months, which I'll probably do another video, a full breakdown of all of this, is my margins have actually been about 9% over the whole course of the year. And then if you take into consideration, like I have to pay an accountant to do my books. There's a couple of tools that aren't considered in this. So like really you could knock that down like another % or 2. I used to think that I was doing shit because my margins were only like 10%. And then you realize like if you've just launched this whole new products-based business, and you're in your first year and you're turning over that kind of revenue at a profit, like, you're doing very well. But when you see stuff online thinking like, oh, this is at 30% margins, like, I'm like, oh man, maybe my products aren't working. Maybe I need to start new. And then you fuck it up. Whereas if you accept where you're at and kind of look at it at a way like you're just still figuring things out and you're still turning over profit. Like now I'm pacing towards like 650, 700k, which is blows my mind still now, even in these early days, in revenue. If I tweak my margins just slightly, if I just optimize a bit when I'm at that level and I creep up to closer to 20% margins, like, then I'm actually looking at making some real good cash there. And that's when you're really like, you're never thinking about, oh, do I need to go get a job? You can really invest in your business, because you can invest in your business and start taking out a piece of income to live off. And that to me is when you've really started to escape the normalities of like working a job. Is you're investing and you're living, and it's like, and it just snowballs. And we're slowly getting to that stage. It's exciting, but the realities are still there, right? $258 a day. I mean, when I wake up and I see I've made that, I am actually chuffed, but I sometimes used to not be. I had days where I'm thinking like, I am failing because my margins are so low. And this is just the reality of what it is. Like, if you want to start an Amazon business and you see some numbers of like that they made 10k in revenue in a month, and they put those figures out there, that guy still needs a job. They still need a job, because the reality is if you just launched a product, the chances of that being at like 50% margins where you've got $5,000 in your back pocket afterwards are honestly like, it's doable, but it's like, it's a complete anomaly. The reality is most sellers are margins and net are around 20%. Yeah, some might be higher. If you manage to get to like 30, 40%, like, honestly, that's like amazing. But even if you're at 10% and it's building and you're still learning and you're optimizing, like, just keep going, because it can turn and you can still grow. And even if you're at 10, 15% margins, but you're turning over $1 million a year, like, it could be 10 to 15 grand a month net profit. That's a solid, robust business, if you ask me. So yeah, that's the realities of profit. Hope that was useful, and see you soon.